Hey, welcome to Life After War on emPOWERme.tv, where we invite veterans to share their experiences and challenges of coming home. I'm your host, Jeff Bornstein, along with my co-host, Kimberly. And our guests today are Sue Castillo and Logan Spencer.
A little bit about Logan. He was an E-Force specialist and he spent 15 months in Iraq. But our first guest, she was responsible for over $1 million worth of military spending. She's an actress and she lives right here in Los Angeles. Please welcome Sue Castillo.
Hey, Sue.
Hi,
Sue.
Sue.
Your name
Welcome.
correctly, Sue Castillo?
You did.
Awesome.
I'm
Yay.
surprised. I usually get Sue Castro.
Really?
Yeah.
Castro?
Is Fidel your dad?
I don't know. Maybe because I act like a dictator. I don't know.
All right, all good. Well, welcome to our show.
Yes, Sue. Thank you so much for being here. So tell us, what made you join the Air Force?
I come from a multi-generational military family, so it's kind of always been instilled in us about, you know, patriotism and serving your country and that kind of like self-sacrifice and stuff like that. And so I kind of already had that groundwork. But then also I was from like a small town, no one really gets out kind of thing. And I kind of had a different vision for myself that this isn't where I'm staying. I'm not going to be that girl who gets married and has like 7 kids or something like that. Like there's something else out there that I'm supposed to be doing. And so
I can so relate to that.
yeah, so I was kind of on my own. I was going to college at the time and I was working like 3 jobs, and I was just like, yo, this is too tiring.
Wow.
This is too much. Let me go check it out. And then I enlisted.
And you're
That's
from
awesome.
Texas, correct?
I'm from Texas, yeah.
Okay, what city?
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And San Antonio, I grew up between the two.
Okay.
So San Antonio, like I had some family members out there.
So there's there's Fort Bliss, correct, in
Yeah.
Texas. What Air Force base is out in Texas?
Well, there's Lackland Air Force Base. It's in San Antonio. There was my dad was in the Army.
Okay.
But we had like special assignments all over. But
Nice.
after I was born, like we had to move to Korea because that's where my dad was assigned. So I was living there for a long while, and then we moved to the U.S.
So your dad was in the military
Yeah.
also, so did that maybe influence you a little bit to want to join? Maybe?
I mean, it did.
Well, how did you go Air Force if you was Army?
Oh, because
I'm just asking.
Was there like
I'm
conflict
practical
there?
in my family, so like they're very gung ho and like everyone in my family's tough. I think I'm the more sensitive one.
After talking to you, I don't think so, Sue.
No, but I am. And I went to, you know, like when you can go to the malls and they have like the recruiter's
Right.
office and
Yes.
stuff like that. And each person was like, hey, Marines, Army, what? And I looked at each of the pamphlets, because usually what they'll do is they'll hand like, there's like a female one and there's like a male one.
Really?
So
they have different
They
ones?
have different ones with
interesting.
people
It's
to
different
marketing.
today.
Yeah.
Is one pink and one blue?
Well, kind of. Like they have all the females, and it's just like, look what women can do. And then the men, like tough and grunting and blowing stuff up. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to appeal to their target
Okay.
demographic.
Okay.
So, but even still, like Marines and Army, like when I saw theirs, the women were just like, I'm doing a pull up with one hand and I'm rolling through mud. And I was just like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to sign up for that. Like, and I saw the Air Force one. The girl was like crisp and clean, and I was like, I've seen that woman on an airplane. Like she looked like a flight attendant. I was like, I'll do that, you know. So that's
Sold.
I picked the Air Force because of that.
So you're in the Air Force and you're doing logistics liaison.
Yeah.
Right. Which you could.
Which is fancy for supply.
Right.
You just
right,
supply
right.
stuff.
Which you could do in either in any branch. So
Yeah.
that's why I was asking Army, Navy, Marines. So you go Air Force. So tell us exactly what was that about? And you were in charge of $1 million in.
That's a lot.
In inventory, was it?
Well, it was over $1 million worth of military spending. So like
Wow.
basically the government will give so much money to each I don't want to say like department, but like let's say you have military police and you have EOD, and then you know you have the specialty, the different squadrons or organizations. Each of them gets so much money that they have to spend before the end of the fiscal year, or they're not going to get that money back for supplies that they need to carry out missions. So my job was literally everybody would come and say, we need all of this. No, you have to push these through.
Could be stressful.
Yeah, so you have to.
wow.
So yeah, so it's a lot of stuff. So we
Yeah.
would order things like military working dogs, like
the-
bomb
the
sniffing
dogs?
dogs. Yeah.
Wow.
Where would you get something like that? Do they have actual places that like raise them as puppies? or-
Yeah, kind of. There's specialty breeds. It's not like they can go to like an animal shelter and just pick any dog. It's-
Yeah.
They got to be
there's-
trained.
Yeah,
most
yeah.
certainly.
Are a majority
So-
of them German Shepherds though?
I mean, there's
bigger
a lot of
dogs?
German Shepherds, but then we also had like the more expensive ones were the not the bomb sniffing dogs, but cell phone. dogs that can detect cell phones, where cell phones
didn't
are.
know
Because
for IEDs and stuff like that?
yeah.
Wow.
So there are dogs that are trained to detect where cell phones are.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
So you're out of the so you're doing your job and you're in charge of millions and millions of dollars of inventory and, as you put it, supplies. Right?
Yeah, basically glorified shopper.
Right. So, hence, that's where the mall thing came from.
I
Right? That's what you're
wanted to
doing in the
sign up
mall,
for that
right?
one. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. So you get out of the Air Force and you had deployed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you get back and I'm looking here. Did you find it hard to make the transition once you got back from military into civilian? I know your family is all military,
Yeah.
but did you personally find it difficult making the transition?
I'd say it's still kind of difficult making the transition. It doesn't really kind of go away.
What's difficult about it?
I mean, because for me and my background, like I suffer from PTSD, and I have friends and family members that suffer from PTSD, and when you're dealing with that and you're not getting the help that you need, that you're asking for, or you're even seeking out, that makes it difficult. And especially when you try to, what I would call suffer in silence, which a lot of military people do. You're kind of trained to, like, shut up and color, just,
Sure.
Embrace the suck. Because you can't wallow in that. You need to get the job done. And so it becomes something other than yourself. And when you get out, what's that other than yourself that you have to focus on? And when you don't have that, then you pretty much are dealing with the ramifications of what you had to put to the sidelines.
We talk, and you talk about the PTSD. We talk about the 3 hot button topics here: is PTSD, TBI, and suicide. Yeah. Which is all.
And it's real.
And it is all real. 7%. I was reading 7% of the U.S. population will have PTSD sometime in their lifetime. Yeah. And it's not just people. Not just veterans, if you will, that are getting shot at, or it could be anything. Women from sexually abused to it could be verbal abuse. Yeah. Kids getting smacked around. Yeah. So it's an anxiety disorder, which a lot of people need to be educated on, and it's very real. And there's organizations out there that can help you. Yeah. Are you at this time utilizing at all your VA benefits at all for that?
Well, I mean, because of the injuries I sustained, I get treatment through the VA hospital, nice. And it's that's a constant struggle too. But
so do you have a hard time going to the VA? Is it difficult for you?
I think for women, definitely. I think for women more so than it is for male veterans.
What makes it tough for you personally to go to the VA when you go? What is your biggest challenge in that?
I think the biggest challenge, at least for me in my experience, as a veteran who my PTSD stems from sexual assault. So for me, when I go to the VA, it's like running the gauntlet, because my triggers are pretty much being surrounded by possibilities of reminders of what I went through. Yeah. So I will say that I'm very fortunate, because where I live, there's a women's clinic. It's a clinic that's specialized for female veterans, that gives them a waiting area, that kind of takes them away from that
so like a
environment.
Group therapy kind of a thing?
Well, there's group therapy that's involved, but it's also just specific women's services that they've kind of been neglecting, and they haven't, I think due to 9/11 and due to so many female veterans, they saw the holes in the VA healthcare system, where women were kind of being put to the wayside. They're not getting the treatment that they need, the women's health care and everything. So
they kind of saw a need for the women, kind of need to be separated from the men, even when you're sitting there at the doctor, is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's a different kind of care that, not necessarily.
You go to get a blood test. It's more hands-on, if you will.
Yeah.
More personal.
More personal, and somebody who kind of understands that, what females will kind of endure and have to kind of go through it's just slightly different.
People don't realize that PTSD is an anxiety disorder. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I suffer from PTSD as well. And I got to tell you, back in the day, Vietnam and World War II, they called it shell shock. Yeah. And no one knew really what it was. But now, because of social media, shows like this, veterans like you, people that are willing to talk about it, because if you talked about it back then, it's like poo-poo on you. Yeah. You get spit on back in Vietnam. You get spit on. Yeah. Today it's like, no, and it's done a complete 180. So, and there is help. So I guess what you're saying is that there is help out there, especially for the women, correct? Yeah. And but you do something that's even more proactive, and I think it's so awesome. You you're working as a full-time actress, correct?
Yes, and going to school.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you're going to school, so you've got a wonderful resume. We saw the resume.
Okay.
Yeah, and you did something. You co-starred in Breaking the Silence about military sexual assault.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Oh, that was
So I
pretty
mean,
great.
talk about therapy, right? So you get to kind of give it back. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, what's really great about that project was it was all female. It was female produced, female directed, female written, female starred in, and it was comprised mostly of veterans. There were some civilians that were involved too, but it was all female, and then we had one male who was cast, but the main story that we were trying to shed a light on is, you know, about the sexual assault in the military and how, you know, that happens to both men and women, and kind of shedding a light on it because there's such a stigma about it that it's one of those things that you can't solve a problem unless you put a light on it and address it and then kind of go from there. And I had a great time working with these ladies. There was a passionate subject matter that we all kind of, I mean, not everybody experienced that. Everybody had different experiences, but everybody kind of felt like, you know, this is the story we want to tell. It's not about flash and whatnot. Sometimes it needs to have a solid message. So
Was that a play, or was that?
It was a short film.
And can people air it right now? See it right now, or how can they see that?
Right now, I think what they're trying to do is find distribution for it. It already showcased at the GI Film Festival. I believe it was last year.
Do you have it on one of your websites or anything? Someone could see it.
I don't, but I can find out.
Okay, if anybody wanted to get a hold of you too, because they're interested in this and they want to get a hold of you, tell our viewers where they can contact you and maybe keep in contact. So when it does air, I know I want to see it.
Okay.
I know, I would love to see that.
Okay.
Go ahead and look over there and tell them.
Over there. Okay. You can hit me up on my Twitter. It's @SnarkyZebra.
I love the name.
Yeah.
Snarky.
And and I post a lot of stuff there. Kind of like I posted about I was going to be here. So.
No,
Nice.
no, please do. Yeah, keep
Thank you.
Twitter and
Thanks
post
for
it.
doing
Yeah.
that, yeah.
You know, and so you're going to school and
Yes.
and you're working. You do whatever we do as entertainers
You're
to go
busy.
ahead and. So in the meantime, I mean, there's. I'm sure you had some other jobs and like that. Did you have problems finding any kind of work or anything like that, or?
I did. I mean, it's not an easy transition to go from
Right.
military. You know how
Right.
they teach you to like take your resume from your work experience and like try to transcribe that into like civilian language?
Look, I was Morse code qualified back
Oh.
in the 80s. There was no one knocking down my door to give me a job with that skill, okay?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
communication. See, they try to
Right.
try to get you Morse code. That was a lot of tapping, but I can tell you, yeah.
But we do have a wonderful organization that can assist veterans in finding jobs, and it's called WeHireHeroes.us. It's right at the bottom of your screen. They've got a plethora of jobs for our viewers. And their other website is civilianbootcamp.com that coaches veterans on how to find jobs and careers in the real world. So we're putting that out there for all of our veterans, and I think what you're doing is wonderful. I can't wait to see this
Yes.
short. I hope it gets picked up.
Yeah, I hope it does.
And thank you so much for being on our show, and thank you for your
Yes.
service.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sue.
so much.
Thanks for being
Awesome.
here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And folks, up next, he joined the Army before he even finished high school, so you don't want to miss his story. Stay tuned. We've got more Life After War coming up on emPOWERme.tv.
Hi, I'm Ronald Bush, Tech Sergeant, United States Air Force retired. I'm bonding with my grandson, and you're watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Hello, I'm Pamela Scott, a proud veteran and member of VFT, along with these other wonderful veterans right by my side. And we want to give a huge shout out to everyone that's on the set of American Girl. And you're watching
Life After War
on emPOWERme.tv.
Welcome back to Life After War, and those are some cool shout-outs, weren't they?
They were really,
They were
really
great,
cool.
yeah.
Those were some
Those
great
guys are
ones.
getting really creative.
I know, that's what makes them so fun. Folks, our next guest, he was an E-Force specialist in the Army when he was discharged, and he spent 15 months in Iraq, and he joined the Army before he even finished high school, and he had to wait until he graduated before going on to boot camp. Please welcome Logan Spencer.
Logan, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, Logan.
This is awesome having you, man.
Thanks.
15 months in Iraq.
15 months, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Logan, okay, I want to know, what made you want to join the Army before you even got out of high school? I want to
All
hear
right,
this story.
Recess wasn't enough for you.
I did like the jungle gym.
Bam!
No, but I was 16, and
That's young.
yeah, I was 16 in my senior year. So I started really young in high school, and all of a sudden we had to pick a career path, and I was like, whoa, I don't know what I don't even know what I'm eating for lunch today. Like, I got $4, I'm probably get Taco Bell. I don't know, you know.
Okay.
So, you know, I thought about it. My mom couldn't afford college, so the military was, you know, literally had a desk set up at the cafeteria, and they just said, what are you doing after high school? And I was like, I have no idea. Like, this is perfect timing, because I really don't. And they handed me a bunch of pamphlets, and I was like, let's do this. So I took the test, and I was going to sign up, but then they were like, oh, well, now you have to wait till you're 17. So I had to wait like 4 months. And then, you know, literally on my 17th birthday, I think maybe 2 days after it, I signed the papers. My mom had to like sign it as well, and waited till I graduated, and then I shipped off that summer.
And you were off to boot camp.
Off to boot
Where did you
camp.
go train at in boot
I
camp?
went to Fort Knox, Kentucky. Yeah.
Well, so back so for a second. So between the time that you signed the stuff and you went in, I'm just wondering how much anticipation and were you thinking like? And you don't know if you were going to be deployed. I mean, were you kind of?
You know, honestly, at that age, I wasn't paying attention to the
16
news.
years old, no fear attitude, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know war was going on.
You wasn't even thinking like that.
I didn't. I know I feel really dumb saying that, but I wasn't thinking any of that. Like, I was thinking, hey, I have a plan after high school. I'm set.
Right
I don't have to worry anymore. Because I got really worried. I didn't know what I was going to do. I couldn't afford college. I couldn't afford to move out. I mean, I didn't have a job. Like, it was just, you know.
But at least you were smart enough to say, okay,
Right.
I'm going to make a decision, and this is what I'm going to go with. You know, you just didn't wait, like I guess like some people do.
Right, yeah.
You took a good
not do
path, man.
anything,
At least you're not out there, you know.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was a really lazy kid, so you know, it broke a lot of bad habits I had.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah,
Right on,
I'm still happy with the decision.
So you're in Iraq, and
Yes.
you went to Fort Knox, and from there you get deployed to Iraq 15 months.
Well, I went to Fort Knox to basic training, and then
Okay.
I got stationed at Fort Lewis.
What was your MOS?
I was a 45 Bravo, which is small arms repair, so I was a weapons mechanic.
Fort Lewis. My dad, God bless him, he was in the Korean War. He went to basic through Fort Lewis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great place.
Or not basic, but
well,
he was
you know,
stationed there. Yeah.
It's Washington State. So.
Right. We know about that.
Yeah.
So Fort Lewis, weapons, what was it? I'm sorry?
Weapons mechanic, small arms repair.
Nice, okay. So you take that skill, okay, and you go to Iraq,
Yes.
and what do you do with that?
Well, in Iraq, I pretty much just fixed weapons all day.
Anything that jammed, or I mean,
yeah,
your fix is broken?
If they broke, I mean, it was, you know, from the M9 pistol all the way up to the Strikers.
Wow.
So the big turrets.
That's actually
and the
kind of, I
Strikers.
mean, you can get a gig doing that anywhere.
I could, but I was not passionate about it at
Ah,
all.
right,
So
right.
I get out, you know.
Did they give you other options when you went in? I mean,
When I was signing up, I was thinking MP. You know, so build
yeah.
military
Sure.
police. I
Yeah.
can get a job as a police officer when I get out. Because I'm always thinking about the future, what I want to do afterwards. But they had a long wait list period, like a whole extra year. So then it would have been a year of me not doing anything at home, just to be a military
So
police.
when you get in the military and say like you signed up to do with the guns and everything, you know, I'm looking at this from a civilian's point of view because I don't know all the lingo, but whenever you signed up to do the guns, and then if you want to switch over to military police, I didn't realize that you have to wait and you don't really have anything to do.
I mean, once you're in it, you're pretty much stuck. Like, there's a lot of
you
people.
couldn't
Can't
change
change.
MOSs, or you couldn't cross.
I'm sure there was a
cross-train?
way, but like, you know, it was pretty much you're in.
Okay.
Like, so.
So is it true, just like you see in the movies, you know, like whenever they have the guns and they're having to like, okay, you have like 2 seconds to like take this apart and stuff. Is it that true?
It's not really true, but you know,
Were you fast like that?
we do like, you know, little contests who could do it the fastest and stuff.
Were you-
You're
I bet
talking,
you
you're
were
talking about
fast, though, if you-
inspections, so that's like boot camp, basically trying to get your butt kicked. He fixed them. And
Yeah.
You want to take your time on that stuff.
Oh yeah. You want it to work.
You don't want to go bang bang without the A. That's not good. Right? Bnish. So you've got this training, which is actually I love that kind of stuff. You know, I'm a gunny, not Marines, I'm Army, but you're a gun guy, right? For all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
And
We
so
trained with the Marines, actually.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good,
cool.
another good organization.
I
Right?
think it was that 2111 was the MOS for the Marines.
Oh, really?
I believe.
What was Army MOS for that, by the way?
45 Bravo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So you get out of the service.
Yes.
And was the transition tough? And what was your mind when you got out? I mean, were you thinking, I'm going to get a gig at a motorcycle shop, which is, by the way, what you're doing now?
Yeah.
How did you go from guns to fixing motorcycles? I'm not making the connection.
That's a very long transition. I get out, and the first thing, because I was just so set on getting out. I wanted to further my education.
5 years, correct?
5 years, and I really wanted to further my education. Like, that is what I wanted, and the military at the time really wasn't letting me because of the whole war and things. So I got out and I went straight to college to use up my GI Bill, which not enough veterans are doing at this moment in time. I have plenty of friends who just let it waste away. I mean, you only have 10 years to use it, and you know, it's a very valuable tool. And I went straight to school and just did school. Well, I didn't live off the GI Bill, but you know, college-wise, I used all of it up. Got my degree in science, actually, oceanography degree.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
She's a sharky. She loves sharks.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
You guys got some stuff in common. That's cool.
Should go to the aquarium in Long Beach.
I need
you
to.
could pet the sharks
We've
there.
been there, actually.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
we
really?
did. You have to use your 2 fingers.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
you can't like that.
So then after that, I just wanted a break, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I just went from the military to education, and finally I was like, oh man, like, I'm getting yelled at, and then I'm just stressed out, you know, and you know, the stress, it's different, but it's still there, you know. You've got finals, and you got to keep on track, and there's still money stress now. So
There's structure in the military.
Right.
Did you feel a little bit kind of off because you didn't have that structure? I mean, structure's good. When someone's saying you need to get it done by you know, dark 30, and now you're on your own time schedule, and you're like, I'll take my time, and then you get caught up.
yeah, I mean, I don't think I had as much problems as a lot of the people I know, so it's kind of hard to be like, oh, yeah, woe is me, when I see much worse from even my closest friends. But yeah, the structure going straight into college right after was much different, you know. Like, I had no more money. I had to actually start working.
And are you living at home at this time with your mom, or are you on your own?
I'm on my own now,
Okay.
like, you know, so I'm paying for these things I never paid for, ever, you know, because I went from living with my mom as a 16, 17-year-old kid to military paying for everything.
Sure.
Like, I didn't know how to do taxes. Like, the military didn't teach you any of these like basic knowledge stuff. And so then it didn't help that I'm 24 or 20, I don't know how old I was, going into college with these, you know, 18-year-old kids in the same level as me, and you know, and I've got this war experience, so it was, you know, it was a little difficult in that, because I'm seeing kids just being dumb, you know, just doing normal what normal kids in college would do, and I'm just like, hey, you need to like strap down and work, you know.
At that point, did you feel kind of like a little bit of an elder, and did it give you, was that part of your driving force maybe?
Yeah, I definitely felt like an elder, and I definitely felt, you know, somewhat of like an outsider, but at the same time, yeah, it did help me drive, you know, the driving force. I think my biggest driving force was, you know, just actually getting it done. I spent, you know, 5 years of my military career just saying, I'm going to get my college degree. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it out. And I'm going to get it. And I'm going to show all you that I'm smart. You know?
See, but at least you had that drive, and you saw a vision, and it was kind of like, okay, you like when you have tunnel vision, you're like, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm not going to let anything stop me.
And that's pretty much what, I mean, that was more of my driving force than anything. But you know,
tenacity is a virtue, man, and you know, that's good for you, man.
Yeah, so that
Very
was.
proud of you to do that.
Thank you.
Oh, certainly.
And so I graduated, and I moved down to Los Angeles, where I am today. And you know, I started acting.
You took the ferry over.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, there is a ferry boat in Seattle.
Yes.
Right, and it goes from one side to the other, but
Takes you down to LA?
I have no idea where I'm
No,
going
it
with
doesn't
this.
take you down.
That's a
I
long
drove
ferry
down
ride.
Can they
there.
edit this? Cut, edit, delete.
No, so I moved down here, and I was like, I'm gonna kill a few years. You know, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna kind of just follow some passion. You know, finally, I'm done with the military and that structure. I'm done with the school and that you know, its sort of structure. And I'm just gonna take some time and really just run with it.
Maybe just kind of take a break. It sounds
Yeah,
like,
kinda,
because you were under so much stress for so long.
And kind of just and do a passionate thing, you know, art. You know, I mean, it's, you know, people find passion in that, and I'm one of those
So
people.
So were you an artist or
I do paint a lot.
I love that kind of stuff.
But
What do you paint?
Whatever, mostly
Canvas?
photographs.
I mean,
yeah, canvas, acrylic and canvas
Nice.
mostly.
Do you paint motorcycles by chance?
I haven't yet.
That might be
I
cool
haven't
because
yet.
I know what you're passionate about motorcycles. I know you like
yes,
motorcycles.
I do like motorcycles, and
Tell
that
us
is
a little bit about that.
that is how I got the job at the motorcycle store or shop.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Big difference between a shop and a store. Store, you buy it, shop, you fix it.
Exactly. Yeah, it was it started out as like a part-time, I'm acting and I need money, I work there part-time and learn little things, and it's been great there. It's
You work on all different types of bikes and like that?
they work on Harleys only. I normally just do, I just maintain the facility more or less and help the technicians when they need help.
Nice.
And,
Awesome.
yeah,
Okay.
it's all Harley. It's Born Free Cycles in Burbank. If you guys
yeah.
have
Yeah,
a
give it a
Harley,
pitch.
it's a great shop, great owner, great people.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
All right, so on the motorcycle thing, you're doing the motorcycles and you're pursuing the acting.
Yes.
Right? Tell us a little bit about that, and do you want to be an actor, or do you want to just kind of segue into the science thing?
Well, being an actor is much harder than it looks on TV.
It really is.
Try being a waiter, okay? Then you'll really know,
I
okay?
skipped that. I went to the motorcycle shop. No, it's tough. I mean, it's definitely fulfilling. It's fun, but it's a tough business.
Sure.
There's a lot of people trying to do it, and you have to stand out. And standing out's hard, especially because
But you got a good look. You're not that cookie cutter guy. So
I
keep
try.
pursuing your dream,
I
man.
try, yeah.
Just be who you are and be real. That's what matters.
That's just kind of I'm gonna keep being myself.
Well, we have a wonderful organization, and a lot of it you talked about using your GI Bill.
Yes.
And so in summation, you talk about, and to me, and I don't know, I think you would agree, sweetheart, is that there's that path. I saw a pattern there. You took the path, you saw what you wanted, and bam, you went for it, right?
Yes.
A lot of guys
Yeah.
don't have that clear path. But there's an organization out there right now. It's called WeHireHeroes.us, and it's at the bottom of the screen right now. Take a look. And they got a plethora of jobs, anything from probably motorcycle mechanic to
you never know.
to whatever you want to do. But if you're unsure, and they have another one of their websites is civilianbootcamp.com. They actually coach veterans on how to find jobs and careers in the real world, which I think is pretty cool. Find out a little bit about more of that if you want to go there. But I'm so impressed with your story and your drive and your focus that
It's very impressive.
even if you didn't sought out anything like this, if you could tell our viewers, the other veterans, who have just sat on their laurels and said, I'll use the GI Bill someday, which you all know the road to someday leads to a town of nowhere.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know personally, here it is 30 years later, I never used my GI Bill, and I regret it. But nevertheless, thank God I took a good path. So
Yeah.
if you could say anything to our viewers right now, our veterans, look into the camera and tell them what they need to do.
Look, if you don't know what you want to do, I recommend highly just take one class at a time. I mean, you can still use your GI Bill. Even if you want to go to a trade school, you can use your GI Bill for a lot of different purposes, and you'll find out what you want to do by taking classes. I didn't know I wanted to do oceanography. I mean, I went to the desert, and I was like, I never want to live there again. So, so I went that route. But, I found really a high passion in the ocean and in sciences, and I think anybody who is a veteran could do the same. They could do it easily just by taking a few classes here and there. You work full time and take a couple classes until you find out exactly what you want to do, and it's there for you, and there's plenty of people at all the schools that will help you get through the paperwork, because I know that's a hassle. But it's definitely worth it, and you don't want to run it out because,
Just chip off a little bit at a time.
You'll learn what you'll like. You learn what you like. I mean, you just can't know sometimes, so you gotta.
That's
And
fantastic.
knowledge is incredibly important. It's a very important.
Information is power.
Yes.
It is.
Well, great advice from Logan Spencer.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on our show, buddy.
Thank you for
And
having me.
thank you for your service. And thank you for tuning into Life After War. We'll see you next time on emPOWERme.tv.